We ready? We're all
Yes.
set. Okay, let's call the meeting to order. It's 4:50. Does anybody have any feedback on the previous meeting minutes? Anything we needed to update or change or anything?
They were fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
I didn't review them before,
Always good.
immediately before, but I reviewed them when they came out, and I definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, no, thank you, Bob, as always.
Yeah, same. Though the link in my notes I'm seeing now is not the most current link. So when we post the minutes, we'll just want to put the better link in there. You know what I mean, Bob? Like the downloaded version of the agenda has an older link. It's not the correct link.
Oh, I
where
see.
it says approval of previous meeting minutes, but that link goes to the prior month.
Okay, sorry about that.
But no, that was me. I add those.
I'm so sorry about it.
I'm sorry you did.
It's a
such bad
British,
job.
it's a British apology.
Thanks, Bob.
It's a British apology.
I'll take
That's
it.
right. When somebody steps on your foot and you.
I'm so sorry.
I have to teach my family how to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so we've got our three items here, which are again, basically just pointing at Matt, talking about tech, which is really gonna be the focus of our conversation today, I'm sure. And then CCI and the equipment installation updates. Does anybody have anything to add to those topics? Let's go backwards, if you don't
Okay.
mind.
Yeah,
I like
sure.
to like knock off the easy ones first. So yeah, Matt, you basically just told us to leave this one on here just to kind of check in and see like how these equipment, how it's going with it.
Yeah, so I mean, I haven't gotten any more fielded, but I talked to Star about this. There's a software package out there that lets you update applications that aren't like part of Windows. Like you can set up and say, I want the latest version of Chrome and Firefox and a bunch of stuff that we use. And it like does the installs without all of the, like, you don't have to go download
cool.
stuff. It only works for Windows, but that's the main thing anyway.
Mhm.
And so I'm about to try a 2-week trial, and actually found out from the folks who make it that it is aware of the deep freeze software they use to lock down computers too. So like at least enough that it will be like, I'm not going to try doing this now because I can see the machine is frozen. So I think that will help me keep the machines up to date more holistically,
Yeah.
without as much manual
that's
work
great.
for me. So that's
Yeah.
going to be a big thing. And also I'm going to use one of the laptops, which is not quite ready to go yet, as my test subject. So that will get me working on it and ready to go. So anyway,
That's great.
yeah, I think it's going to be good, and it will also get me carving that time out of my schedule to make sure that I get over the finish line for those
That's
other ones.
awesome. That's
Neat.
great.
Yeah.
Perfect. Anything on the CCI front?
Nothing sort of, ground shaking, little, bumps in the sort of what is being monitored and that kind of thing that we're discovering, and hopefully will help us be able to iron it out. Yeah, I did, at their request, I gave them the ability to log into the library's network devices and on a read-only basis, which is what they asked for, so they can do, some poking around at it. And haven't heard anything more about that from them, except I think, logged in, was able to see stuff. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Anything about CCI that
Not about
Yeah.
CCI, but I wasn't fast enough to jump
Oh.
in to ask where we were with the hotspots.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah,
No,
that's
that's a
funny.
major one. And actually, so one of the issues there is that the packaging for them circulating, this is my brain and what it does, partly using this as an excuse to not make the time to work on them, is like I know they're gonna have to find a way to, like get new Tupperware or whatever it is they're gonna circulate in. So I need to tell that part of me to be quiet. And get them set up and activated and circulating. Yeah, we do have the devices, so
Okay.
I gotta get them turned off.
What's I have no sense of scope for like how long does it take to do something like that?
So there's definitely,
You have to go one by
I
one.
kind of do, yeah. I set up the network name and password on each device, so that we can have the instruction card, in there, and it will be the same for everybody, and also it won't be just like, oh, you turn on in your hotel room and people around you were able to just connect to it because we left the defaults in place,
Right.
things like that. It doesn't take a lot of time per device. I have to go on the vendor sort of website and be like, yes, please turn on service for this one and this one, this one. The first sort of 2 batches of them, because we had an original batch, and then they were like, we need to send you replacements because we're turning off the network that those could connect to. And so we're going to send you all new ones that do 4G.
Oh, that's kind of
Yeah.
annoying.
So, I mean, that was about a year in, I think, so it wasn't immediate, but I probably went a little overboard in the amount of information I recorded for myself on the device, like, copying down every, like, the little tiny numbers on everything. I think now I know a little bit more of what we really need and is useful, so that will help speed that up too.
Who else is involved in the process of getting those ready to go? Like, you have to do something to them to then like get them, are they already in the
Yeah, I mean,
catalog? Like,
Tech service, well, we can add them to the catalog easily enough because they're just additional items of the ones we had in already. So barcoding, so technical services, definitely is the ones who normally do the preparing for
Yeah.
circulation, the finding what, again, like kind of box it's gonna circulate in. Last time it was still Leslie, and Leslie, like, laminated the instruction cards and stuff like that, which I was grateful for because that's not something I do on a daily basis. And so, I think, Cody's workload is a little different than it was under Leslie. And that is, like I said, that's kind of why that part of my brain has been like, oh, I don't want to be like, here, Cody, here's 11 things I need you to, but
And we don't pay for the service till they turn
That's
it
right.
on, right?
Yeah.
oh, that's
Okay.
nice. Yeah.
Okay,
Is there any kind of, I would imagine, I've never used a hotspot, but my like thinking is that it would be like higher usage when it's nice outside. Is that true? Like, is there any kind of reason to like try to get them done before,
just
summer?
that there really is still demand and, yeah, I don't think it's particularly a time of year thing.
So it's
as
just a
much.
kind of like consistent need across
Yeah.
the.
yeah, a lot of people use them if they just don't have internet at home, so
Yeah.
it's any time of year, although people do reserve them to take them camping
Yeah.
and things like that.
Yeah.
And we did talk about, I talked about with Amanda, our circulation manager, about maybe we'll put some of them into the library of things where you can make a reservation for a particular date.
Oh, that's right. I
And then
remember that.
leave some of the others the way they used to just circulate,
Just
which is,
here.
you put a hold on like a book and you get the next time one's available.
That seems like a good idea.
And also possibly not put all of them in circulation immediately because of the loss.
Yeah.
With people not returning them.
And that brings me to the question of the policy. So I did check, Greenfield does not let people with temporary cards check them out. And that is at least half, I think, of ours disappeared with folks that have temporary cards, which of course are the people that really need them. And I did speak with Libby from Groundworks about possibly getting them there. I think she's, overwhelmed with a whole lot of stuff. And so for me to suggest that she go out and get a grant to do this other thing, it's like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Like when people come to me with these things.
Why does someone get a temporary card? Like, what does
They
that
don't
mean?
have an
Means they,
address.
so that's the barrier, is
Yeah.
that they don't have a.
Yeah. And we do, we're very good with loaning out our stuff, with temporary cards. But we do limit it to 2 items, and there were people who came in, there were people who came in and got a regular card that day, checked out a hotspot, and we never saw them again, or the hotspot.
At least
even
one
if
of
we
them,
turned
at least one of them too, I believe was, they said a Brattleboro address and it,
Yeah,
you could find it as Brattleboro address, but it was technically like over the border in Marlboro and that weird part where it's like really hard to tell which town you're in and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So like, it was definitely not a staff oversight or anything that gave them the card. It looked, they had a bill that was addressed to a Brattleboro address. But,
Yeah.
the post office is like, yeah, we know what this means. So,
yeah, so, so the question is, and I think we have to look at that, with the e-bikes. And also, and some of our, we've had some library of things go missing.
So does that go to the board?
Yeah, eventually that would go to the board.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Well, and probably soon, right? Because I guess, once the new set
Right.
goes out, they're gonna go out under the previous policy, right? And so,
Yeah.
and we know how long it takes to update policy through the board, so
Yeah.
it might, okay,
Yeah.
all right, well, good to know.
All right,
Okay, cool, all right, well, that's,
sorry,
we're knocking through things.
Good.
No, that's great. And I actually didn't have hotspots on the list of equipment. I'd forgotten that that was on there. So thanks for bringing that back up. So, okay, well, next time we meet, then hopefully we'll have an update on those. I would imagine the hotspots would be kind of the priority on that list, because I think you've said before that we
Other stuff
get
needs to-
more
Yeah.
requests than we tend to.
Yeah.
fulfill. Good. All right. Talking about that.
So, we had 8 or 9 people this month, which, considering some of those things were going on in town, and it was one of an early spring, nice day. It was good. It's interesting, I'm seeing some repeat faces and some people who are, new every time, not necessarily a shock, but, I think this is definitely a topic that we're gonna, wanna maybe revisit in 6 months or a year or whatever. It's a perennial problem. One other piece of news is we decided we're not gonna have Talking About Tech in April. It's the same day as Recognition Day for STAR and lots of other things going on, and I have to leave town by like before noon to go up to something. So lots of reasons we said, okay, we're just not gonna have one in April.
Yeah.
I also I was talking with Gene about this, with 3 under my belt now, right? There's definitely some things that I'm like, okay, that's enough to kind of establish some patterns and want to really think about some more.
Yeah.
So, the first one, the kind of flow of the hour and a half went kind of close to what I was sort of envisioning of like, okay, we got this topic that's on the agenda kind of, we're gonna spend some time talking about it. Then we're gonna kind of let conversation go where it will, and it might branch off from that, which it kind of did, but like we
Right.
definitely, and then, near the end, we'll try to have some time where there can be people saying, hey, can anybody help me with this? I think it partly because of the topic selection for February and March, we basically stayed on the topic the whole time. Like I think that was because people wanted to keep talking about it. But I'm like, okay, do I want to rethink, or what can I learn from that? Like, do we want to maybe try to have more focused topics, or maybe that, a big topic like that we want to do, every like not no more than like every 3rd month or something, in some way of like, putting that in the publicity, or just what, like I feel like, trying to still keep things open, and be flexible. And it's just like, it's enough now to be like, okay, so what was different about this versus that? Yeah.
Did we get feedback? Did we get any survey responses
So-
from this one?
We know, I will say one of the things that I just personally kind of struggle with in this is another sort of lesson to myself, is that being kind of fully prepared for all of what to my brain feel like the nice to haves. Like making sure that like the surveys are on the table with pens, and like, I think you said, right, reserve some time for people to do surveys. Like that kind of thing is difficult for me to, make sure is in place. And I'm partly thinking about, okay, well, what kind of support can I, call in?
Exactly.
Tara and I are gonna have a meeting to sit down and be like, okay, what's reasonable? And there are definitely things she's been doing a bunch of help. Star has helped with, set up and things like that a couple times already for sure. But just, kind of like, being like, hey, you know what? I can get the TV down from, like, it's great that you did that. And like, that could be great if you kept doing it. But, if it'd be easier for you to make sure you've got like a stack of surveys and like pens and like that, and be ready to go, like maybe that would be better, and I could do the TV, or whatever.
Yeah.
So it just like that kind of thing. I also need to put stuff in my calendar like early in the month to be like, you got to start being ready for, like
Ideally, though, my hope is like that it won't require so much of your prep as it moves along too, you know? Because it's like,
Yeah.
what of those things can you just walk in the room and have like set up
Yeah,
already,
exactly.
you know? Like, I mean, some of the
Yeah.
like physical stuff, obviously, it's like you have to take
Yeah.
the TV down every time,
Yeah.
but like, is there, instead of bringing the paper surveys, could you just put a QR code on the same one slide that you have up every time? You know, that you don't have to remake or something, and then you show people how to do the QR code every time, just so there are
Yeah,
fewer
yeah.
things for you to have to like schlep around and
Yeah.
remember to do day of.
Maybe a good topic for soon is what are QR codes and how to use
Which you
them?
probably
And
have to
like,
cover every time,
yeah,
right?
right.
Like,
But I mean, like,
if we- QR code, you probably have to do it every
You know,
time, but
if we mention that and then here, let's try to get the QR code. And look, it's the survey for talking about tech. So you can fill it out, you know,
Yeah.
like, it could be kind of a nice little dovetailing.
well, and even it's like, even if you have somebody who's not like super tech savvy, but they are a repeat visitor to the session, they could potentially do some of
Exactly,
that
yeah.
like parallel support, which is a nice.
Or maybe that's right. Maybe that's a good
sense of
way I
agency.
can, if I can set myself an alarm or something, be like, okay, we're gonna transition out of, make sure we're transitioning out of the topic. And hey, you know, one of the things we're gonna do as the transition time is let's look at the QR code and, you know, if you need help figuring out how that works, ask your neighbor, or, you know, put your hand up or, yeah. The thing that has worked well is that the topics have been things that I can talk about without spending hours of
Yeah,
prep, you
that's
know,
good.
like, and I, based on feedback and, you know, that I have gotten, I don't think people are like, wow, you could tell he was just like, you know, do it by the wing, yeah. And that's the kind of, it is the kind of the blessing of the format, like that was one of my main goals for this format, right? Was to, if I'm the one presenting, it's gonna be able to be things that I don't have to sit down and write slides for in
Yeah.
advance. The other thing that I want to hopefully get in place. One of the nice things about not doing April, it gives me a little extra time to get ready for May and like maybe do some of the systemic things. That mean each month is not a big
Yeah.
deal, right? So like in many ways, it would be great maybe if May was the first time we have somebody leading that starting discussion that isn't me. And or I talk to more people and get it lined up for, even if it's not May necessarily, like, you know, hey, what about June or whatever, right? I did, Gemma was there, again, which was also great. You know, she's got a lot of, knowledge and was a great contributor again. And I did talk with her afterwards, you know, she did say, yeah, I could probably do it. Like, let's talk about topics and brainstorm topics and things like that.
That's
And, you know, Bob, if and when your workload, you know, permits and you want to do
So
something
sorry
about it.
about this.
No, yeah. I mean, like, we don't want to ask people who don't have the time to do stuff, right? You know, but like, there's gonna be hopefully plenty of months that it could happen. So, you know, I'm looking forward to it not feeling neglected, if you know what I mean.
Mhm.
So, yeah. Yeah, so like I said, I think they've been good. I think, you know, the attendance has been good.
Yeah, well,
and-
especially this last one, that there were so many things going
Yeah.
on and a lot of just like traffic around the library and stuff. I mean, that's pretty good actually for that,
Yeah,
for that session.
yeah, and like I said, like, so I think that. Yeah, there's been good stuff to learn and, you know, continue to try to get some of these little details more in place, like you said, you know,
You know who you.
little grab
Or
bag. You know,
Yeah.
the pens and the surveys, and, yeah.
The lot, and it's just like that, it's gonna continue to happen if you have all these things that you have to do, you know, beforehand, but if there is, you know, yeah, a way to like streamline as much of that as possible.
I think one of the things I'm trying to learn is remember which things
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Talking
be
about
able to
talking about
kind
tech
of do.
and reducing the amount of prep that has to happen before every session, what are like the kind of like streamline, do it once.
And the things that are easy for me to do as prep, and the things that if I can plan earlier and get set up so it can be every month, I don't have to.
There is one this week.
No, yeah, and then, and I was.
Yeah, it was this.
And I told people we're not gonna have one in April because it's lots of conflicts, including the Star Appreciation Day, so.
So we could, do you think there'd be it would be profitable for us to have a standard checklist for this event now? Like, we've done enough of them maybe we want, yeah, just like a list of things, what to do the day before. You know, what to do 2 weeks before, and then like what to do the day of and who we need to get, like, should you always make sure that you have a right-hand volunteer or someone there so that you're not having to do everything all by yourself.
Yeah.
And I want to apologize right now that I haven't been there for the last 2.
It's okay, like that, like I said.
Yeah, no, I haven't been actually.
Yes, and I will say, so. Making that kind of thing is not always my strong point. Having them imposed on me is also often difficult for me. So like, like finding a good way to work to that, is absolutely kind of like one of my goals. Yeah.
I would work on it with you.
Yeah. That
And
could be great.
let's put it this way, I would work on it with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't drop it on you.
No,
I would work on it with you.
like, like the historic childhood trauma of like, you're not doing your homework. This is the system that, we're gonna put in place for you. So
Yeah,
I appreciate that. It's
If you're not engaged with the system.
exactly. So like, no, I totally take it in the spirit it was intended, I think, Bob, and I appreciate the offer, and that will be great, and also, being sensitive to your availability with your day job and
Sorry.
everything. No, I'm just saying, like, I don't think we need to put it on you, right? Like, I think we're doing fine and we can do better,
Put it on myself.
and,
And we can also, we can do that. That's awesome. And the two of you could work on it together. And then the next time we meet, if we haven't had time, or whatever, we could just knock it out here
Yeah,
together.
we have a month
Yeah.
to think about it. So now, thank you.
I have a question, Matt, just like looping back around to what you said earlier. So Matt was saying like, the first session went kind of in the thirds that we had originally imagined, where there's like the topic and then, kind of a more structured
the
discussion
second
and then a little bit more open. Second and third ended up being like mostly Matt talking and answering questions, right? Like,
it
the
stayed on
same
the topic,
right?
yeah. It wasn't just me, answering questions even, like we definitely had participation, which is good. If it was just me, if it felt like I was lecturing
Just
and
talking,
yeah,
yeah,
that would be not what I want. And I don't think what is best. So it
So
wasn't quite that,
so
but
I'm sorry to
no, that's
misrepresent
okay. I
that.
just,
That's important, though. It's an important distinction. So it's not that you're, talking the whole time, but it's that like, if the topic is passwords, you stayed on passwords.
Yes,
Like the whole time,
exactly.
which is a little different than like, what we had originally thought. And I'm just thinking like, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Maybe that's the way those are evolving. But I also think it's possible what you said earlier about like those big topics being like maybe every now and then.
Yeah.
And like zooming them in a little bit for some of the other ones, like. That sounds like a good idea to me too, like,
Did you do an evaluation at the end?
So I didn't bring the blanks with me because I was scrambling to get ready in the morning, even though I got here at 9 or even a little bit before. And I mentioned, and I was like, love feedback and everything. And of course, if you don't have it in front of them with a pen, and be like, please do it now, or the digital input. Yeah.
I really wanted to, find out about it.
Exactly.
Time, that would have been nice.
Yeah. So that's still like, that was one of my, it's been my to-do list for February and for March to get better about that. Hasn't happened yet, but I haven't taken it off.
Well,
the
maybe
list
this
by
is
any
a good
means.
one for like, if Gemma, for example, is gonna be there, this is your job, Gemma, will you please like get the survey?
the reminder,
out,
yeah,
and like,
exactly,
or
that kind
show
of thing.
people how to do the QR
Yeah.
code or whatever, just to like, or are they signing in? They're not signing in.
No, well, that's something, we could consider actually, and one of the things I've thought about, like Max has got an email list for his book group, the sci-fi book group, right? And that could be a way to get people to sign in, to be like, hey, if you want to hear about these,
Because that's another
Or if
opportunity
you
for
have
like
something to-
follow up
or if
too,
you have
right?
Something to offer expertise with.
Yeah.
Get on the email list.
Yeah.
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 Because then it can be a conversation, because eventually when us brilliant people run out of topics, you have there's a group of people.
yeah, exactly.
You
Yeah.
could say, hey, what would you like to see?
Yeah.
Something like that.
So maybe that's a goal for the May session, is just like, just have people sign in if they want to be on an email list.
Yeah.
And then, and then we can potentially get some feedback that way too, even if people didn't get feedback in the session, if they get an email later with a one question survey or something, they might be willing to fill it out.
Yeah, because we have a Stitchers email group,
Yeah.
so I can shoot stuff out.
Yeah.
And is that like a discussion thing, or is it just sort of more notifications?
No, it's not.
Yeah, I think Max is the sci-fi book, because I think I'm still on the email list because I went to the first one and just haven't been able to get it back, but get back to it. I think the email addresses are there for people to see, and there is occasionally a little bit of, but I think it tries to be mostly just, like probably that's the
Yeah,
base of
and
the
people
group.
could
Yeah.
see the email addresses if I didn't make them BCC,
Yeah.
but I make them
Yeah,
BCC.
I kind of feel like it's probably better to default to, this is gonna be for communication about stuff rather than a discussion, because you get more people sign up, and it means you don't have to worry
Yeah.
about what happens if there's somebody who's,
Yeah.
yeah, so.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Synthesis, technology is bad. Disengage. Infiltrate the group.
God. People will need to get hobbies. That isn't hobby.
I think that is their outfit, yeah.
So
Well,
maybe
because
for the, because we have a couple that are like in the queue, right? We have like the AI in general, but we have talked about with the AI one, like zooming that in to
Yeah.
like have a specific prompt, which seems
I
like a
think
good idea.
This is maybe, yeah, I think you're right. It's like that thing I mentioned about maybe try to be more focused, like AI is a good one for that, right?
Yeah, because
It
we
can be
already were
so
like
broad,
that. So,
and then like picking something more specific.
same thing with the town one, like if the town focused one has 2 or 3 little things, the parking app and the community directory and one other thing, like.
About the parking.
Yeah, did you?
Do you want to come and talk about it?
Help us. So when you're setting up your profile, make sure that you type all the letters and numbers of your license plate in with no spaces, unlike how they appear on your license plate. And it's not because the app in your phone can't deal with that, it's because the app that the meter maid has can't deal with that. How did I find that out? I got a parking ticket, even though I paid, and I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
It happened to be right across from the downtown, from the parking enforcement, so it was very easy to go in there and say, look, the meter's still running, I paid. And they're like, oh, it's a space,
Yeah.
but that's a thing.
Yeah.
you heard the stories about the people who get NONE as their vanity license plate, end up with thousands of dollars of bills, because that's what the police write if you don't have a license plate.
Oh my God.
Like, I have questions about this. I have seen it. I have seen it in like actual newsworthy sources, but sometimes they just pick up story from a non-newsworthy. Yeah, it feels very urban legend, but
But I thought it was funny to find out that the thing that enforcement uses, their handheld device, can't deal with
That is a problem.
That's
not
I
good.
was-
Well, there you go. There's
And I was like, that's the
Yeah.
secret, that's a secret, make sure.
and I mean, actually, honestly, that's like the kind of thing that I was joking about, unless you wanted to, about you leaving but like if somebody had that kind of thing to say,
Yeah.
hey, my experience just,
Yeah.
that's exact. I mean, we don't have it scheduled yet, but yeah.
We'll work around you.
Yeah.
Cause I just love the parking apps. I think it's cool personally, but,
Well, that's
I'm
May
the
and
only
June,
one in
right?
town,
Like
yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
potentially May and June. I don't know. Did we have a third one? Did we have another one that was kind of cute?
And we've definitely
The two that
thrown
I
around all
remember.
kinds of, topics, but, oh, well, this committee suggested, asking Jean to come and spend that half an hour talking about digital news literacy or something. And I did talk with her about it, and she's not opposed to the idea at all. In fact, but like her first reaction was like, I didn't, it sounded too broad and giant at first, which fair enough, and like kind of,
Yeah.
so that's definitely one of the things. She's like, yeah, we're gonna have to make sure we figure out what it is.
Just another, like,
yeah.
it's like, you need that specific prompt. It's like the AI
Yeah.
one. We can't come and have a conversation about
Right.
AI, but we could, give 2 or 3 ideas for how you could
So I
potentially.
think I might have said information literacy, right?
Yeah.
And she was like, oh my God, and then like digital news literacy or something more,
Or just getting your news from the library. I mean, people don't know you can read the New York Times for free every day.
Yeah,
And that's huge for people, so-
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Exactly right. Yes. You can read the New York Times for free every day.
It is probably the most time I spend in a week that's library related is
Yeah.
at home reading the New York Times.
Yeah,
The.
you just click, you click it every 3 days.
You get a
know it.
pass for 3
Mhm.
days.
And you
And-
just click it again and
There's sometimes is this weird little bit of,
I'll show you. We'll show you before.
if you go to online library.
Yeah.
And you can either go to resources A to Z. And then go down to N for New York Times. And
Yeah,
there's also a resource guide for
Mhm.
that Gene's written about local news.
you can also read the Reformer online.
Yeah.
We don't tend to promote that because we don't want to make the Reformer mad at us that
Yeah, I
we're,
don't wanna be out of business.
yeah,
I'm changing my subscription from the physical paper to the digital paper,
yeah.
cause I figure I can scrounge around for my bird cage, you know, it's gotten very expensive.
I think Paul Belligor can afford to sponsor.
Well, you don't think, no, the biggest problem is now that it comes through the mail, I get
Free readership.
no paper for 2 days and then 3 papers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm like, this is not how newspapers are supposed to
No,
work.
I get all my subscriptions.
Or postal service. I mean,
So,
Yeah.
yes, but anyway, so.
But
there
this
are
is a
lots-
great
yes,
advertisement for
yeah,
why we
exactly,
needed
yeah.
getting your
Yeah.
news from the, and then, I mean, my sense, because I talked to Jean also just very briefly
Mm.
about her idea, you know, it sounded to me like she didn't necessarily want to do like a full session, you know,
Yeah.
she wanted to maybe pop in, but if we did getting your news from the library and, you know, and then she popped in and gave, you know, 10 minutes of like, you know, evaluating your sources or something, that would be.
And also because we are gonna be closed for, you know, gonna have one, one entrance closed all summer, that this is, you know, I'm
There's some
hoping
good
to
things
really
to know.
push, the downloadables. So, you know, you can read the New York Times from home, you can read the Reformer from home, you
Yeah,
can
that's a
read
great
books
idea.
online, you can watch movies, all that stuff. And we also have a delivery service.
Yeah,
which
that's very
is a
smart. So
benefit.
you're like, that reduces some of that like frustration of
Yeah.
like, I can't. you know,
Right, and
it's
it
not
gives us
easy
a chance to
access.
promote our other things.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So,
Cool. Okay, so, anybody have anything else, about the talking about tech series that we wanna?
and I need to go spell Jean because Amanda went home early and Jean needs to have dinner before she works the evening shift.
Okay,
So.
sounds good.
Good seeing you.
We're
I'll
nearly
hook you up
done.
with the New York
Really.
Times.
Oh, no, I mean.
I can show you
just-
too,
You
actually.
just, you explained it perfectly. I am familiar enough with the library website that I
Alright,
can do that.
you
That
can
was
manage it,
instructive. I
okay.
can figure it out.
Post this anywhere that
I'm
you
gonna
go.
take it, I'm gonna take it
Okay.
to work.
Good, fantastic.
That'll be good.
And then come to the park.
I'll be on the.
Thank you, Star.
Yeah.
Camino. I'm sorry, I'm missing this.
Thank you, Star.
So I think the last thing on our agenda, which is not on our agenda, is next meeting date. And Star and I were talking before you guys came in, that maybe we'd put a pause. And while like this transition is happening, and also while the Building and Grounds Committee needs to be meeting every other week, and there's a lot going
Okay.
on right now, so maybe we just, you know, take a little break, even just for April, because we don't need to plan anything for April. We could do early May, we could just skip
Yeah.
April and go to May if that.
That'd be great.
Think
if
that could
works
work for me, yeah.
folks. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we can just see, we may only need to do like a bi-monthly or, you know, or whatever, and every other month. You know, if we are getting our topics set and we don't feel like we have super pressing stuff.
What are you talking about the next?
Next meeting
Tech
date, yeah,
committee meeting?
yeah, exactly.
This
So
is the April meeting today?
this is the April meeting, so, it's skipping May would not
May.
be, yeah, I know. I
Oh,
was
okay.
like, yeah. I
I'm
was-
sorry.
No, you're right, because I was thinking we don't need to plan anything until the end of May. This is the beginning of April. No, I guess we stay on the same page.
It's- yeah,
don't we?
um,
Yeah,
But I mean, I would just say, so a couple things. I guess after April 11th, we will have 2 new members, right?
Yeah.
2. So,
We're pretty sure.
Of the board.
anyway.
yeah.
Yeah,
And that's gonna bring us up to 8?
and-
I think it's 8.
Anyway, that's terrible to have an even number. But I'm not even gonna be at the April meeting. Cause I'm away, and so we're kind of gonna do our reorganization in May, and so, that's like for people that might wanna shift around on committees.
Mhm.
And then I think
Oh, okay,
also.
so we may have
And we may have
a
a
new
new
cycle
Yeah,
essentially.
And so I think, there's a couple things, so it's like, probably talking about. Who would like to be the other officers, or I think all that's kind of sort of set, but like, do people wanna shift around on committees? I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but we do have new people that can come on things, and then there might also be just getting a sense. From the other committees, like, does building and grounds need to be shored up with some other, like, I'm just wondering,
Yeah,
Right.
cause. I've spent no time with that committee, which is fine, but,
Yeah.
It's like, it's just trying to wanna put people where they're gonna need board people to be,
Yeah.
and then, but, yeah, so. That's
So
my
for
two
that,
cents
no,
about
that's
the
important
reorganization.
because that
But
basically,
I'm happy to keep coming back to,
well, so the like, what would be on cadence for us is May sixth, so
Yeah.
early May. So would we have, like, would the dust have settled? You had at that point,
which particular dust are we talking about?
the dust of, like, people moving around across committees, no, right?
No, because,
that's not gonna
because we're not
happen
gonna do it
May.
until the second, till
Yeah, okay,
where we also might have a new director too. Oh my God. it's just-
right.
I know this is pertinent to our next scheduled meeting.
Mhm.
But also we are still in the tech committee meeting and being, recording and such, I should know,
Yeah.
Well, if we want to say,
We can
Yeah,
adjourn,
we'll do
we
May-
can
May
adjourn it
6th and
and,
Yeah,
like,
let's just say
let's say
May 6th.
tentative for May 6th and then we'll figure out the details.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
that makes sense. Okay, yeah, let's adjourn at 5:27.
Okay.